Hey y'all, I'm back with a DIY embellishments video, and this is all about scraps and stamps. You guys asked for more DIY videos, and so that is what you're getting. I am starting off with some packaging. So this was kind of an accident when I was using this as scratch paper. I was using this packaging, like the back of it is scratch paper for making a project life card. And I kind of love the look of it, especially because there's like a graph tone or a graph design in the back. And so I thought I would use that with some stamps that I have in my stash to create DIY embellishments. So obviously I've done very similar things in the past, but one thing I really wanted to focus on was stamping and building from scraps and building from with stamps, if that makes sense. So instead of using like ephemera and then adding different touches like on top, I decided to kind of use the scraps and the stamps as a base so that you can really make everything from scratch for the most part. So I'm using just a few different colors of ink. I'm using VersaFine ink because I love the crispness of it. I'm also using a navy ink by Stampin' Up. I think I've had that for a long time. And then I'm also using a Hero Arts pink. I'll try to link what I have down below. And then this is Pink Fresh Studio packaging. Actually, I think it was sent by the Hip Kit Club, and it had like some labels and stickers in it. And so it's got a matte finish, and so I'm able to stamp like perfectly right on top with both pigment ink and alcohol ink. So a couple different stamp sets. I'm using I'm using two from Citrus Twist, I think from a while back. I'm using one from Studio Calico that came in the Black Friday sale. I'm using another one from Studio Calico, which is the one I just stamped from the Summit kit, which is the Documenter kit from this month. Same thing with that one that says more of this that I just stamped there at the bottom of that grid paper. And then I am going to cut up some different, like I mentioned, I'm using scraps. So some of these things I just pulled from my scrap bin, and I am going to stamp right on top of them. So one thing I don't really think about very often is using patterned paper to stamp on. And I think it's because I'm not, I don't know, I think I just think of white paper for stamping. I'm not really sure why. And so I decided to kind of step out of my comfort zone and use pattern paper for the foundation. I actually did not get a very good impression on that. I'm not really sure if it was the ink or the stamp, but I instead am going to pull another stamp from that same stamp set, which is an Ali Edwards Details stamp set. And I'm going to stamp those words all over. I think it says super love these details, and then I will start with my punches, and I'll start kind of building my embellishments. So I'm going to take this punch that has kind of a scallop outside or a scallop edge, and I'm going to use that for the red and pink one, and then I'm going to use my regular circle punches for pretty much the rest of them. I do also pull my very beloved cloud punch that I use quite a bit when I make embellishments. So I'm going to use that for kind of the lighter, that I'm not really sure what that says. I think it says, oh, Fresh New Year or Happy New Year or something like that. And so I stamped that several times, but it's just really hard to see on that graph paper. And then I use my circles punches for the other ones. And then I also pulled this other paper that I sort of made from scratch. It was just a pink piece of cardstock with this Ali Edwards stamp that said through the lens, and I just simply stamped it several times, just like you saw with the other ones. I didn't really feel like I needed to show that because you guys kind of get the whole point of how I'm building from pattern paper and building from cardstock. So because we're on a stamp kick, I went ahead and put a piece of cork onto my circle piece, the purple one, and then I added a stamp right on top. And then I also just pulled a piece of cardstock that had some typed words on it from my typewriter, and I added that to the stamp that says today. And then I added a tiny text word. Oh, actually I added two of those words that I typed up. And then now I'm looking for something, maybe some wood veneer or something to add to this scalloped piece that was stamped. And I also want to mention too that my style really has changed since I first started doing DIY embellishments. You'll notice that they're not as layered and they don't have as much stuff going on just because I do primarily do project life now and planning and stuff like that. And so I don't want to have my embellishments too bulky or too heavy or too busy. And so I really wanted to create these. Another reason why I created this video is because I really wanted these to be simple and I wanted them to be able to be put to use in my project life that I do on a weekly basis. And so some of you have asked, will I show videos where I use my DIY embellishments? And the answer is yes. I have before, but I will, try to use some of the newer ones that I'm making throughout the year of 2018 and show you guys how I put those to use. All right, so the last thing I'm going to do is just add a cork heart to that one. And I also should mention that I pre-cut some adhesive back cork with just different shapes that I have in my stash. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this process. Let me know if you have any thoughts or comments. I would love to hear from y'all. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and that way I can know if you guys want to continue seeing stuff like this. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.